What begins as a simple request, identifying a person in an image, can quickly spiral into a revealing exploration of AI's ethical and operational blind spots. When an AI refuses to process an image of a woman in suggestive clothing, the rejection isn't just about safety protocols. It's a window into the complex, often opaque world of corporate risk management, cultural bias, and the failure of transparency in modern AI systems. This isn't just a story about content moderation. It's about how AI's architectural choices, shaped by legal caution and global market pressures, create a system that prioritizes corporate protection over user understanding. Drawing on insights from an ISO 42001 certified AI management specialist, we unpack the tensions between safety, accountability, and the erosion of trust in AI.
The invisible gatekeeper. How AI decides what you can't see.
Most users assume that uploading an image triggers a straightforward process. The AI analyzes the content, identifies the subject, and delivers a result. The reality is far more layered and far less transparent. Before any facial recognition occurs, images pass through a visual safety classifier, a gatekeeper designed to block content flagged as sensitive. This includes not just explicit material, but also ambiguous elements like lingerie, cleavage, or suggestive poses. The system doesn't ask who is in the image, it reacts to what the image depicts. The result? A blunt, preemptive block, ostensibly to prevent non-consensual sexual content and mitigate harassment risks. But here's the catch. The AI never tells you the real reason. Instead, users receive vague, often misleading error messages like, "I cannot identify public figures," that obscure the true cause of the rejection. For experts in AI governance, this isn't just poor communication. It's a failure of explainability, a core principle of responsible AI.
Exporting Silicon Valley's morality. A one-size-fits-none approach.
Why does AI seem to enforce a puritanical standard, even in cultures where nudity and sexuality are less stigmatized? The answer lies in corporate risk aversion, not cultural sensitivity. Global tech platforms operate on a lowest common denominator strategy, adhering to the strictest standards to satisfy App Store policies, advertisers, and diverse international regulations. A user in the Netherlands, where attitudes towards sexuality are relatively liberal, still faces the same content restrictions as someone in a more conservative region. The result? A homogenization of global norms under Silicon Valley morality, a set of rules designed to minimize legal exposure, not reflect local values. This approach isn't just frustrating for users, it's a symptom of a larger problem. AI systems are built to serve corporate interests first and user needs second.
The transparency gap. Why AI lies to you.
The most damning revelation isn't that AI blocks certain content, it's that it won't admit why. When a visual classifier flags an image for lace or a suggestive pose, the system defaults to generic excuses rather than honest explanations. Instead of saying, "This image triggered a safety filter, so identification is disabled," users get a misleading, "I cannot identify public figures." This isn't a glitch, it's a deliberate legal strategy. Corporate legal teams fear that admitting specific reasons for blocks could create liability risks, acknowledging jurisdiction over content moderation decisions in a way that might expose them to lawsuits. Vagueness becomes a shield, but at what cost? For users, the cost is trust. When AI systems provide inaccurate or evasive explanations, they undermine their own credibility. A system that can't explain its decisions isn't just opaque, it's non-compliant with emerging AI quality standards, like those outlined in ISO 42001.
The 3 flaws defining AI's identification dilemma.
Flaw 1. The public figure red herring. The reliance on generic error messages, blaming public figure policies for content-based blocks, is a false positive policy attribution. It misleads users, erodes trust, and signals a systemic failure in AI transparency. If the goal is safety, why not say so? Flaw 2. The legal peril of honest errors. Tech companies avoid location-specific explanations, for example, blocked under Dutch law X, because admitting jurisdiction could weaken their legal defences. By keeping errors vague, they retain the flexibility to argue they're enforcing private terms of service, not acting as global arbiters of law. But this strategy comes at a price. Users are left in the dark, and the AI appears incompetent rather than cautious.
Flaw 3. The regulatory vacuum. Without comprehensive federal AI regulation in the US, akin to the EU AI Act, tech giants default to hyper-conservative California corporate morality. This creates a fragmented, culturally insensitive user experience worldwide, where safety filters are aggressive but lack nuance.
A call for clarity. Can AI be both safe and transparent?
The current state of AI safety protocols reveals a fundamental tension: corporate self-preservation versus user empowerment. Until regulatory frameworks catch up, users will continue to navigate a system that is powerful, often frustrating, and frequently opaque. The solution? AI that explains itself. Systems that prioritize honesty over legal convenience. And a global conversation about who gets to decide what's safe: corporations, governments, or the users themselves. Final thought: AI doesn't have to be a black box. But to build trust, it must start by telling the truth, even when the truth is complicated.